not copy my presentation. The reason being that I put some wrong facts in it. So you can't copy it. Okay? Including the practical bit, 8 to 10 minutes, just like yours.
Your walkthrough of it now.
8 to 10 minutes. Okay? And hopefully, your ones won't have this issue. Right. So, at the beginning, you will say what unit you're going for. So, Unit 1 Individual Showcase. You will state your name, Mark Waits. You will state your candidate number, which, as I'm evil, is 666. Okay. You will state what job you're applying for. So, I'm applying to be a lighting technician for jazz concerts. For you, I would actually go with the proper title of the job, which you will have in the advert. In this presentation, I intend to show how I'd be the best person for the job. Jazz lighting. So I started by researching jazz lighting for concerts. So I found a band, which I've now made up the name for, called Bombay Jazz Systems. Okay? And the lighting design by that was, the name of the lighting designer was Elder Price, which any of you who know musicals will know that's definitely a made-up name. The reason I selected this is I looked at the picture of the lighting design. If you notice, they uplit all the drapes, they've got items hanging which create a more interesting picture, which they lit. The band are pretty well lit, but they're not lit like a drama show. You can just about see what they're up to. It's definitely a concert and not a piece of drama, isn't it? Okay? And if I were you, I'd talk about what it is that made you want to show that picture. What I would do, I would use strong backlight, so that it brings all of the figures out on the stage. I would like things like drapes on the stage, so when you get this job advert, you'll realise that the show moves around different types of venues. Okay? So if there are drapes around the stage, I would like them to make a more interesting picture. And I would try and create an image around the performances, much like a lot of concerts do these days. That maybe the band aren't the most active or interesting, so you need to try and improve the piece with lighting. I would try and save money on operators. So instead of having follow spot operators, I'd have specials, so spotlights where the performers would be performing. If I had moving lights available, I'd save more money because you could have moving lights go from place to place to place to be able to do that. Challenges. As I've already kind of said a little bit about, I think the challenges tour is caused by the different size venues. When you look at the job adverts, it talks about small venues, large venues, some outdoors, some in marquees. The challenge is to try and make the show exactly the same no matter what kind of venue it's in. How I do that is by trying to have a simple version of the rig and a larger version of the rig at the same time. So therefore you can take different amounts of lanterns depending on where it is you are, and indeed leave some on the truck depending on what kind of venue you're in. My skills. At college I studied lighting design. I've since lit over a dozen productions or events. I'm a skilled technician. So then you should talk about what skills you have. When you look at the job advert, it says that you should talk about things like rigging and focusing and things like that. There's a whole list on the advert. And at that point you should talk about what skills you have in those. The same with health and safety, so I'm health and safety conscious. So therefore then you will say how you are health and safety conscious, what you do to make sure that you and the rest of your crew remain safe. Okay? Equipment I've used. So if you remember the job adverts from the past, and we talked about trying to improve your technical vocabulary. So therefore, the desks I've used a Strand palette, a Verilite Virtuoso, an ETC Ion, a Lights Tone Touch Pro, a Grandam A, and a Whole Hog 2. To most people, that's utter gibberish, but they're real desks. So maybe look up which ones you've used. Equipment used, so lanterns I've used Verilite moving lights, Martin moving lights, Rogue moving lights, Brunels, Profiles, PCs, ADs, and follow spots, to name a few. Talk about these. Say what kind of lanterns you've used, how you use them, why you would use them on this kind of show. Okay? Before this presentation, I created a lighting plan showing positions, types of equipment, DMX addresses, and channel numbers. I created focus notes so I knew where the lights were pointing. I created a list of looks, so how I'd like each stage to look. If this was a real presentation, I would then show them to the camera. Yeah? I can tell you now, I haven't written those, but you should. So, this is the last slide before we move upstairs. In my practical demonstration, I intend to show the following: my rigging skills, my focusing skills, and my programming skills. And while I'm doing the practical piece, I will talk through it with what I'm doing. Okay? Excellent. Okay. At this point, because when you do your presentations, it will be in this room, and there'll be a screen down that end, so you can do your PowerPoint presentation in the same as you do your practical. It's actually a list of things to be installed at this point, so we haven't got it yet. Before you do your presentation, you'll be given a 10-minute slot to be able to set up anything that you need to set up, equipment-wise. Okay? So we're going to assume that I've had my 10 minutes of setup time. So I would pause the recording after the presentation from the board, and then we'll restart it as soon as anyone is ready for the next bit, which should be pretty much immediately, because you're already set up. So, does anyone remember what I said I was going to demonstrate? My skills, right. So I'm going to demonstrate rigging skills, focusing skills, and programming skills. And I've got 5 minutes to do that. Okay? So I'm going to split that up into time. I will tell you now, I'm not going to demonstrate rigging skills. I think you all know that I can rig lights, and I don't need to demonstrate it in this presentation. What I would have done was left a gap of 2 or 3 lights out of my plan, and left them on the floor, and quickly put them up in the air, rigged them, put them roughly in the right position, and then started with my focusing. Okay?
Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah? So, I'm going to quickly bring up some lights and focus them. So, because of the height of the rig, I can work safely without someone putting my ladder, because I'm likely to fall. So what I'm going to try and create is a general wash across the stage, and then a special in the middle for a performer. Okay? So all I'm going to do simply is open up my barn doors. I'm going to unlock the focusing situation, make sure that I have as large an area covered as humanly possible with this light. Then I'm going to lock it off. I'm going to check that it has a safety bond and that everything is safe for me to leave this light. And then I'm going to move to the next one. And what I want to do is imagine that I have a performer standing here and performing to us. So I'm going to light that person. Now I'm going to change the focus of the light. So it's a hard edge beam. This is where it proves impossible to do. This one doesn't have any colour because I want to get a pick out the form. And then finally, all we're going to do is position this gunboat. So that's part of that. I'm then going to talk about programming. If I had the choice of desks for this photo show, I would choose one that is more concert-based. Unfortunately, at the moment I can't show you that, because our concert-based desk is in the theatre next door. So what I'm going to do, because concerts are programmed and run mainly on Submaster and things like that, I'm going to program this desk on Submasters and not on cues on the go button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, is my first state. In the real presentation I would have chosen 2 or 3 to quickly program. And the camera would probably follow you so it can see that you're actually using the desk. Okay? So what I'm going to do, just to demonstrate now, is I'm going to record to Submaster. So I'm going to record sub to enter, it lights up. Quickly get rid of my lights, press clear. I'm going to check that it then comes back up and I do the failure. And like I say, I'd repeat this for another 1 or 2 looks beyond that. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.